Hello and welcome back to another episode of One Meal a Day Modified. This is today's meal and I will go over it with you in a minute. I am actually calling this my miniature seafood edition because I'm going to start out with a seafood chowder. In this chowder I have clams, shrimp, calamari, and some whitefish. In addition, of course, I added, a few vegetables just for nutritional sake, as well as flavor. Cantaloupe is so good. It's so sweet. It's so juicy. I already had a chunk. So yummy. And if I get hungry again later, my modification for today will be to have a little bit more. But obviously, before I have anything in addition to my normal meal, I have to finish all of this before I can, make any other modifications. And then here I have a whole Dungeness crab. It's sweet, it's tasty, and yes, I tried a little teeny tiny nibble of that. And I like mine with a little bit of lime. I'll do lemon if there's like nothing else around. It just adds more of like that Caribbean flair. And what I did is I poached this using some Old Bay seasoning, just like half of a tablespoon, just because there's so much salt in the Old Bay. And then continuing with the lime, I have some key lime noosa. And as I told you guys before, I have to look at this. I think it's like 300. Yeah, this is 320 calories. So sometimes I will only eat half of it and save the other half. And the flavor in the noosa yogurt it's very, especially for the lime, it's very concentrated. So if you're not a lime lover or a citrus lover, this might be a little bit, too limey for you. But if you like key lime pie, then you will love this yogurt without the guilt of having pie and a bunch of cream on top. So good, so yummy. And this is an Australian yogurt, so it's just really tasty. I love their yogurts. And I'm trying to back up a little bit. So, today my message is basically eat what you love as long as it's healthy. So if you always loved seafood, eat it. There's nothing wrong with that. Lower in calories as long as it's not fried. And notice, I don't use butter. I've never been one to dunk my yummy, healthy seafood into a vat of fat. So I don't use butter at all. And I would suggest if you feel that you need to use some butter, just use a tiny bit of butter. Hopefully use none, because butter by the teaspoon, just a teaspoon of butter has many more calories. I think it's twice as many as this entire tub of yogurt. So just imagine you're adding extra calories and I don't know, choices, as I always say. And then of course, I don't add anything. This is just a nice sweet cantaloupe. And the way to pick out cantaloupe to make sure you get a sweet one is you want to see, what I do is I buy one in the store that looks perfectly round, as blemish free as possible, and then I leave it in the fruit bowl here at my house for 4 or 5 days. You'll notice that the skin will sort of dimple just a little bit. That means it's ready for you to, take it out of the skin, slice it up, put it in a little container, put it in your refrigerator, let it get cold, and you will be in heaven. It's like eating nature's candy. So that's how you just, you sweeten it. And a cheat, like I said, I did add vegetables to my seafood soup. And what I did is I added mushroom. That's what that is. I added some bell pepper, some shallots. As you can see, I have some parsley on top, but I chopped up some basil and other fresh herbs to add to the soup itself. And there is just a teeny tiny bit, and I do mean the tiniest bit, of potato, super finely diced, because I'm just not a big potato lover, but just to give it a little bit of thickness, I did that instead of adding cream. So it might look creamy, but there's no cream in this. That's the potato doing its work. And the other thing I did is I added, in this bowl, there's probably 1/4 of a cup of almond milk. So, sneaking in some protein, some extra vitamins, iron, etc., plus nuts are awesome for your heart. So, come up with your own food hacks and do what works for you. But at the end of the day, when you're on a 1 meal a day modified plan, you should be able to eat the foods you love as long as you're using common sense and reason. So I like coconut cake. However, you've only seen me have coconut cake once, and you saw my portion. It wasn't an entire cake. It was just a piece of cake. And having it once in a great while is totally acceptable, but you have to know your limit. If you know that you will eat the entire cake, do not have the cake. Don't have it in your house. Don't make it. Don't think about it. It's something that you need to get out of your diet. But that would have been something, if I wanted it, I probably would have replaced my 320 calorie yogurt with a small piece of coconut cake, but I did not want that. And like I said, watch out for your oils. If you want your fruit to be sweet, don't add anything additional to it. Just let it get really ripe. It will sweeten itself. And then when you're making soups, you can substitute things to add that richness and that creaminess without adding the calories. So thank you so much for tuning in, and please do me a favor and subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Take care, and remember, health is wealth.